Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
You sound like a robot, but yeah, no worries.
Alright.
My connection is glitching up.
It's okay, it'll make it sound vaporwave.
Yeah, we're an aesthetic podcast.
If I suddenly just drop out, it's probably because my internet crashed. It does that all the time now that I'm in Montana here.
Your voice is surprisingly pleasant. Anyway, hello, welcome to...
That is the first time someone has ever said that to me.
Me being interrupted during the introduction.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were introducing.
No.
Sorry.
You're good. Go kill yourself. So welcome to episode 1 again for the Anonkun and Quest community broadcast community. Podcast, not broadcast. God. So I'm just gonna go down the line and introduce everyone. We have a lowly slut. Say it. Right?
Just use Alerni.
Alerni?
Yeah, that's easier.
Yeah. There's me, DM-Casual. I moderate Anonkun and run Persona Quest. And we have EEEAUGH.
I run Banished Quest. Don't do much with Anonkun, but there you go.
And then there is Eld One-Eyed.
Hello, Salwe, Tay. I run Rest the Nation. I used to run Apotheosis. That's probably what I'm most famous for.
And then there's Larro.
Hi, I'm Larro. I run quests. And I
Hi, Larro, who runs quests. So, yeah. How should we start?
Well, last time we just jumped into talking about
Crusader Kings.
Yeah. Then we went from there to incest, and yeah, that went well.
Let's not repeat that.
That went amazingly.
That went so well.
I wouldn't mind repeating it, but I don't.
Grim MAND said, first
I
question,
don't think we should.
will you be talking about Ilwers and his sister?
Talking about popular culture.
Let's. I don't know. I'm not fielding that one.
You're not feeling popular culture. You want to just start
No. I'm
talking
not
about,
fielding. I'm not fielding what Grimmand said.
Oh, I see. Will you be talking about Ilwars and his
I
sister?
think we should avoid talking about. Sorry.
Describe my favorite game, Deus Ex. I'm not going to describe it. It's good. Play it. You can't.
I can agree with Deus Ex as a very good game.
Fucking sick.
I rather like Shadow of the Colossus.
Talk about Homestuck.
Shadow of Colossus is like seriously one of my favorite games.
Homestuck is shit.
I'm the only one here qualified to talk about Homestuck.
Fuck you talking about, mate. I followed that shit from 2010.
Oh, okay, well, I guess you're qualified too.
I know my Homestuck. I can bitch about every aspect of Homestuck. I act 6 onward, half the comic. It was all shit.
He is really good at bitching about it, I've heard.
I can agree
I can go
with
for
that.
hours.
I just felt like I was the only one autistic enough to have fan trolls here, so...
Oh god, I actually escaped that autism, but...
You were in the Sonic
only
autism
because
instead.
I was going to say only because I did Sonic shit a few years earlier, so...
I'm not sure what's worse.
Holy crap.
No,
I honestly can't answer either.
Not Trollsona, fan trolls. There's a difference.
Mate, that's
I'm disgusted.
about as bad.
I am disgusted.
I'm not inserting myself. I'm making characters.
Oh yeah, that's so much better, isn't it?
I am.
I mean, yeah.
It's very
in a
pleased.
sense, it's way better.
Smug as hell.
I feel like this is a worse start than the last time.
Probably.
Well, I don't think we're gonna have DM's girlfriend get triggered over this. So
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I'm not even
better
in the
than us.
apartment anymore. I'm in my
She
dorm.
could just
So
really hate Homestuck.
that would be
As she
funny.
should.
You should also hate Homestuck. I agree. It's like an American Bleach. It started great, and he's good at world building, and then it just kind of he didn't know what to do with himself, and he kept putting in
And
more
then he
characters.
sold the fuck out with that Kickstarter. Fucking
And-
took a year or 2 long hiatus, and then he came back and he had fucking Tumblr write the comic for him.
It collapsed under its own weight. He hates it,
People
but he's good at
don't
it.
have character arcs. Fuck you, Hussy, you insufferable cunt.
And resurrecting Briscoe was the worst decision that anyone has ever made in a story. Narrative
Literal
also-
retcon powers.
Also, time traveling just works so well in every story ever.
Yeah.
No, Hussey
worked
did
well,
time
but-
travel well, but then he did
He
retcon time travel.
He did it well for like when one character had the power, and if they screwed up,
Yeah.
kind of doomed everyone.
Like the time travel in the system works, and it's you have to go back to do what you already did. So it's like not really time travel,
Yeah,
except
no,
for
no,
the fact that you're physically
that
going.
worked, but it's when he did the retcon.
Yeah, the retcon's when it collapsed
Like-
under its own bullshit.
So
All
welcome to Homestuck chat.
Welcome to
Yeah,
Homestuck General.
Fiction.live. I mean, yeah, that's fiction. It was written live.
I mean,
It falls-
Homestuck, here's a spring point. Homestuck is, I guess, technically, or was a quest for the beginning parts of its existence,
Mm.
as were the rest of MS Paint Adventures, based off, I think, Ruby Quest, or Ruby Quest is based off one of the MS Paint Adventures.
Ruby
one of the
Quest
two.
is based off MSPF, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we owe a lot to Hussey, I guess.
Yeah, but I
Sadly.
yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah, can we just forget about that? Just ignore history.
just rewrite it. Really, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, nobody cares. We can just use time travel or some shit.
It's like
It's rec.
I want to make a Holocaust joke, but I don't know if I should or not.
You're
the
allowed.
type here.
Do it.
Okay, yeah. Homestuck is the quest to what like the Holocaust was to not Homestuck. MSPA was like to the Germans. And that we just kind of we acknowledge that it happened and it's formative, but we kind of don't want to remember that.
Basically, yeah.
Sounds good.
Although I do like Hussey. I just
You
think
like
he's,
Hussey? Oh, fuck
I think he's a
Do you like
terrible
new
writer.
Hussey or do you like old Hussey?
Old Hussey back when he was
Okay.
funny.
Okay, that's fine. If
And
you like
I-
Hussey just as he is, then you need to put yourself
Like
down.
Problem Sleuth was great. Let's be real here.
His best work was as SO. Fucking slam dunking that welfare check.
Yeah.
No,
All right.
unironically, Problem Sleuth was kind of great.
Anyway, welcome to Homestuck General. So, should we move on to quests now?
Sure,
Yeah,
why not?
Probably.
Let's discuss the actual topic of this podcast, maybe.
Yeah, quests.
Wait, this isn't a Homestuck podcast?
I mean,
No.
you could have fueled
No,
me.
Get the hell out of here. This is about Homestuck.
Want to bring up your the talking points?
My questions. Okay, we have two QMs here now. Let's get okay. This is a general one. What was your favorite quest shitstorm that you actually witnessed or took part in?
Oh, jeez.
I'll let whoever wants to field this first field it first.
I can start off with it, I guess.
Go ahead.
I actually I kind of accidentally started one myself, but back when the older quest that I was running, everyone was kind of pushing for these two characters to go out.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun.
But one of the characters doesn't like the other one like that, and she just straight up rejected her. And I think everyone went on meltdown.
It was beautiful.
Like the next QTG that was made had a picture of like the Titanic sinking with those two characters' names on it. And I'm just like, guys, she's never ever hinted that she has any romantic feelings towards this person. I didn't even know what to
I
do.
miss QTG.
That was fun.
Does QDG not exist anymore?
It does
it-
on Quest.
It's not the same. It's not at all.
Yeah. The biggest shitstorm I was ever witness to was in one of my own quests, and I don't quite remember the details because that was back when I did Slime Quest. That was a while ago in my infancy as a writer. But as it turns out, what was it about? I remember there were two shitstorms. One of which was because we accidentally turned one of the quote unquote waifus into a slime hating yandere. Yeah, it was a fuck
I
show,
recall.
right?
I recall that.
And
All I really remember about Slime Quest was the lamp votes. Those were fun.
the lamppost was fun in the tub. those were good memes. They were quality. But then the biggest shitstorm I remember, there were arguments for pages upon pages upon pages about the ethics of absorbing people and reconstituting them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think I contributed to a lot of that shit.
Yeah,
You probably did.
I did too.
Ship of Theseus. It was the greatest shitstorm I've ever witnessed.
That was a shit show.
Hold on, wait, no. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna go look for something.
All right, then Alerni, what was your shit song?
Probably in Magical Girl Noir Quest with the whole Yuma flashback. That was that was a fucking mess, and it was great.
Oh my god, I miss Magical Girl Noir. That needs to.
I don't.
Do you
miss it.
unironically miss it, or do you miss like the shit?
No. I actually did like the quest.
Oh, that's terrible.
I liked it for a while, and then I liked it at points, but it was shit.
I guess just because I chat with the culture a lot and stuff, so we're pretty
tainted.
Cool with each other.
Oh, all right. So there's another shitstorm that I remember that I have. And I remember it because it's posted on the front page. The very first thing someone sees when they would enter Slime Quest is it's not ethical for slime to have sex with students. They're too young to give consent, and they've never even tried to give it anyway. All the sex with them has been coercion, subterfuge, and force. And even if we weren't doing that and they agreed, then it would still be rape because they're mentally incapable of making these kinds of decisions. The slime also cannot make these decisions and is making the crime even worse because it's perpetuating immoral choices by forcing its choices on people, misspelled P-E-O-P-E-L, who can't decide when it itself is only barely capable of consent when it's piggybacking off the mental faculties of another minor.
Oh fuck!
I missed Slime Quest.
Slime Quest was fun.
Honestly, if someone wanted to continue it, I could, and I'm willing to give it to them.
Tub Wally was the best. Tub Wally was the best.
I think really some people forget sometimes that these are silly stories on the internet that we're writing and should be.
Yeah, people get really into quests.
Not seriously at all.
Like, the thing is, I started by writing smut, and then I realized I'm not actually that great at this. So I just kind of moved on. And yeah. So that was my shitstorm story.
You're a successful I can't say that. I'm sorry.
Now I'm a successful mod? Question mark?
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
You're a mod.
Yeah, I'm a mod on the
Anonkun. Not give you any adjectives.
And I became a mod basically by saying, "Hey, Cass, I've been here for a while. Can I be a mod?"
I'm still shocked that he just went through with that.
No, that's probably one of his most sensible decisions.
Apparently,
and you had a meltdown and leaked.
Oh yeah.
I should ask him. No, I fix shit on akun. I should be a mod.
When Anonkun first started, he was like for mods, and I was like, I can be one.
And did he say no?
No, I'm still am.
What?
What? You are?
I'm Ixies on Anonkun.
I didn't even know we had mods that weren't me or Counter Zero.
If you go to the stat thing, I think I'm right there still.
Yeah. You never even said anything when Frigg, Dev and I were having our huge shit fight over Skype for like a good 2 weeks.
Okay, actually,
you never said anything.
I don't use Skype, so when I logged in, I just saw like a billion messages. I'm like, what the?
Speaking of shitstorms, Del, do you want to go into detail on that history or nah?
About
that should be good.
That thing.
Yeah. No problem.
Posterity, I guess I can sum it up real quick.
I mean, I'm just curious because I never heard the full story or the story in general, except that it happened.
Here's the thing. Before I was even a mod, Dev was trying to remove main chat, and Emeraldus, who no longer uses the site, he had been fighting this for months. So I finally become a mod shortly after my 18th birthday, and I take Emeraldus' side in this, and we're like, hey, don't remove main chat. It's the main central hub of the community.
I still disagree with his decision on remaining it, but I'm fine with it for fiscal reasons, but continue.
So, this is before fiscal reasons were brought up. This was just him talking about how he didn't like it. So, it started getting really bad, and I think this is when he was really advertising on Reddit a lot and talking about how what really brought it to a head was that he said basically that he wanted to remove the current community and replace it with a better one.
That I did hear about.
Yeah, he did that AMA on Reddit, right?
Yeah, and that just made me so mad. So I behaved unreasonably, and I do fully regret that to this day. That I should have not revealed the private conversation from Skype to the community. I should not have done that. But eventually, I was just angry. So I showed the community him saying that he wants to get rid of them. And so he made me not a mod anymore. And there was people supporting both sides here. It wasn't just him stomping everybody. There was people who were taking his side in this.
I just want to throw my 2 cents in. I totally agree that main chat should have still been a thing. He made several choices for the site that I didn't particularly agree with. But on the other hand, yeah, showing off private chat is kind of lame. But,
yeah. I mean, I'm always a proponent of main chat. I miss it so much that I made another one.
Main chat was a mistake.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
But
No,
so
Alerni's right.
about that time, because there's a bit more to the
Grimmand
story.
said all hail main chat.
So
Anyway.
Emeraldus leaves the site. Emeraldus has had enough. I still talk to him on Discord, but he hates Anonkun now.
hey,
Will not
tell him
go on
tell him I
it.
said hi. Tell him I said hi.
Yeah, I'll definitely tell him after this is over. Frigg also sometimes talk with. I think he's still a mod as well, but he almost never goes to the site.
Yeah, I'm 90% certain Frigg is still a mod.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He made me really welcome when I first started using the site. Frigg's a great guy if any of you guys have never met him. What's funny is that he was actually threatening to leave before Emeraldus was, but he's the one who ended up not. So I'm no longer a mod, but I'm still kind of trying to stick up for everybody. So right after main chat gets removed and it's just topics, I make a topic saying something to the effect of, do you feel the administration is listening to your desires? And the vote was overwhelmingly a no. So Dev,
I would still say
that conversation.
I mean, yeah.
And I was kind of, again, getting very mad that he hid the conversation. So I made a new topic saying, hey, he hid this conversation. Here's a link to it. And I'm kind of mad about this. And he removed that one as well. And by the 3rd or 4th time, I found that I could no longer post. Yeah, it was banned for about a month or so for the next little while. When I did get the ability to go on the site again back, I used my 3rd alternate account, which I'm not going to tell you guys because I might still need it in the future. My 2nd one is Airy. I'm not too worried about that one. And yeah, that's the whole story about why I was banned and removed from my moderator position. I made a lot of bad decisions. I hope that was fun for you guys.
Very
no,
fun.
it was. It was a good history lesson.
Enlightening, really.
Also, I still want main chat back.
Yeah.
I do agree that one of the big problems I've had with Anonkun is that I guess nothing is really added or taken away with readers' input, I suppose. Like during that period where he was all like, oh, hey, you guys have to comment before you make a vote or whatever. I think literally this is a terrible idea.
And then he made it mandatory.
I am still annoyed. I am still annoyed by how when the whole reaction to the new layout was negative, he still went through with it because he's fucking Cass. Of course he did.
Look, I'll be real. I love Cass for providing us a site, but I think he's kind of retarded.
Yeah,
generally.
I think we all agree that he needs a community manager and he needs a dedicated programmer. I think we can all agree on those two things.
Who would ever want to step up to be the community manager, though? Really?
Me.
I would. I have nothing better to do.
I'm already basically the community guy.
No, I do it.
DM does a good job, I think.
I would also nominate CZ.
I mean, Counter Zero could do everything.
Is he even
better than
around
I
these
can.
days, or?
He popped up to ask.
He came back just a bit ago.
Yeah, to ask for programming problems and shit.
Funny thing is that me and Counter Zero never really went in the same circles, even when we both were mods. So I actually don't know that much about him. From what I have read, he seems like a cool guy. It's just that I've never really seen him in a quest or anything like that. I guess we just read different stuff.
He was really good at. He was really good at like being a community person, which is why people like him so much.
Yeah, actually.
Also, let's be real, Counter Zero is a really cool name.
It is.
Yeah.
He also has a great avatar.
Counter Zero just sounds. It sounds so good, and I don't know why. So.
What are we done with that discussion?
So yeah, I think
I
that.
can mention my shitstorm myself.
Oh yeah. E, you have a shitstorm?
That was Princess Guard quest. I was there for the entire duel from start to finish.
Oh yeah.
I honestly,
yeah.
That was
I will honestly say that Anonkun did nothing wrong.
He did nothing wrong.
Oh fuck.
Okay, he fucked up a lot, but it was more to do with the structure of the quest, and people misconstrued a lot of it. Like, the rival getting the special sword is deliberately spiting the players was dumb as fuck when it was telegraphed from.
Wait, so
like,
was
the
it
second or third thread? It was. What was that, sorry?
Was it deliberately spiting the players, or was it just like they were?
It's just like he ran the quest like a VN. So that caused a lot of fucking problems where he'd be too rigid to chain. Why do we suck at fighting so much and have no magic? That's because Archon initially intended to have it in another setting that was lower magic. And he thought, you know what would be a cool idea? If I just dump this plot onto my existing setting without changing anything about the main character. And
there are people that
setting turned out to be magic heavy.
That just plan plots ahead like that.
Yeah.
He ran it like a VN where you're a side character.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a big problem.
I mean,
it's more like
honestly,
he combined two different VNs and it didn't work out.
I'm not going to try to like speak for anyone or anything, but like I think that, you know, I hope that most QMs don't go out and run just to kind of spite their players, like in some sort of like vendetta against them. That just seems counterproductive. So.
I mean,
some do it for sure.
The most spiting I do is like poking at them a little, taunting and teasing, but I don't like being antithetical to your
you can bully your players.
Reader. It's just stupid.
I one time in my most popular ever quest, Apotheosis, the players decided that out of all the girls, they were going to waifu the one who was a dishonorable thief who was introduced trying to kidnap the main character.
I've had weirder waifu decisions.
So, of course, when a better deal comes along, this character betrays them, despite being in a relationship. And the players were not very happy about that. They actually killed her and then felt bad about it afterwards, which was exactly what I wanted them to do, of course.
I think I remember that
first girl syndrome.
Very seriously.
I think I remember that. But at the same time, I forget most of your quests because it was a while ago.
Yeah, I don't write as much as I should. Yeah.
Amen.
I know.
But I hate first girl syndrome, so I will always do something against it.
The first girl that comes up is usually the one that's picked.
Yeah, in my quests, don't do that. I will screw you over.
Yeah, I try to avoid first girl syndrome as much as possible, just because it's boring. So my quests, I'll either have the first girl die immediately, or just have it so that all the waifus are equally as desirable, or at least desirable by equally sized subsets of the audience.
So you're some sort of faggot who doesn't railroad his players, then?
Something like that, yeah. Mostly because the only quest I run consistently is Persona Quest, which I try to run like a Persona game, which has said multiple waifu options, although all of them suck except for Aegis.
Well, in Banished, I railroad the absolute fuck out of people. It's hilarious.
In Slime Quest, the first girl we met, we killed. So
Actually, this is a good way to.
As we should have.
Actually, that reminds me of something that I was reading on the old QTG, where there was discussion about like railroading and stuff. And I know actually it was a discussion about pre-planning quests, right? And so the person who spoke up said that they have the entire quest already written out, but like it's like a choose your own adventure book. So when the players pick one of the prompts, he just copy and paste what he'd already written there. And I'm like, is it even fun for you anymore? Like, what are you doing?
yeah,
It takes some serious autism.
That's actually, I think that would work well on Anonkun with the whole multi-route feature, actually, though.
Then you're just running like a VN, but...
entire quest, dude. Like, not like a small chunk of it. All of it in its entirety.
Was already pre-written.
Yeah,
that depends on the length of the quest, though.
Depending on what they picked.
It might have been, I don't know, each update could have only been 2 or 3 lines long. I just can't imagine someone doing that with like a longer quest. It wouldn't work.
And quests tend to run pretty long also. Like, most quests are longer than the average novel.
Oh, no. It certainly wasn't some 100-chapter epic. It was like a couple of chapters.
Yeah, I mean, the quest I'm writing most casually, the Persona quest, is already longer than novel length. And in terms of time size, it's only a week and 2 days into the story. That's supposed to take over a year. So, quests in general
have fun.
are just
doing
kind of
quests like that is a fucking mistake. I'm just putting that out there. That is a fucking mistake.
My life is a mistake.
Yes.
For context,
I
looked it up once, and the Evoker is almost 2 times the length of A Storm of Swords, which is the longest of the Song of Ice and Fire books, which took
longer than War
Martin
and Peace.
years to write.
It's longer than War and Peace.
It's longer than Homestuck, though.
Is it longer than Homestuck? I was about to say.
I think my current quest has been running for 2 years now. Even then,
Are you still running, what was it, Magical Academy Quest? Or?
Yeah, I'm running Magical Academy quests and Audit quests right now.
Fucking hell.
Weren't you also running one about hoodies at some point?
Still currently am, but that's on a different website. I'm just kind of keeping it to quests.
Yeah, pacing is an interesting thing to talk about in quests.
Alright, let's move on to that then, since we got the question. How do you do pacing?
I don't understand the question.
Yeah, neither do I. That's why I asked.
It's vague, but it's an interesting topic if you can think of a way to talk about it.
I do it very poorly. I still regret the boat ride of Apotheosis because it was very poorly paced.
That part I do remember. Yes, that was not great.
The boat ride?
There was a whole 2-chapter arc, which was about a considerable portion of Apotheosis, where the characters were all stuck on a boat trying to figure out the cause behind poltergeist activities. And it was even less well set up than my usual setups.
Were you deliberately aping Berserk?
What was that?
Were you deliberately aping Berserk there, or...?
Yeah, I was about to say.
No, I was not. Had nothing to do with Berserk, actually. It was just a very poorly paced cruise ride with poltergeists.
So just a coincidence.
Yeah.
So a normal, everyday cruise ship. I mean, I've been on cruise ships. If anything are haunted, it's them.
I know when I do my own quests, I don't try to, but usually, like, if a problem's introduced, it'll usually resolve within that chapter. But then again, I'm speaking on like quests where I have like literal like real-time days to run a chapter. So
yeah.
But if it gets to the point where like we're at the end of the thread and the problem's still not solved, I'll just stop it and then start the next thread and continue right from that problem. But I don't try to keep any short issues lasting more than a chapter or two. The bigger overarching stuff can go on for many chapters.
Pacing wise, I always try to structure my quests either like a show or a game or something where everything is just chunked into distinct chapters or episodes, quote unquote. And usually the structure is, if I can think in my head like, oh, this would be a 20-minute episode, and the content happens, then I chunk it off at the end. that's how that paces. Or if it's more like a book, it's just whenever the character goes to sleep is the end of the chapter. Like Persona Quest. That's just every day is a day, and they're all separated. So there's that.
I should try something like that, because that might help with some of my problems. Thanks for the idea.
I mean, to be fair, quest-wise, I just always kind of feel inadequate, because I look at other quests, and they've all written, like, fucking 1,000 pages for one update, and I prefer smaller, chunkier updates with, like, more choice between, because I guess I play them usually more like a game, rather than like a story. But it's an interesting distinguishing point, because my updates are usually like, a long one is 5 or 6 paragraphs for me. And for most other people, it seems like it's like an entire couple of pages.
I'll just
of
keep
scrolling down.
It comes to a point where there's clearly some input needed for the MC to continue. But I kind of run my stuff differently than most people, so I mean, I'm not sure how you guys do it, but in mine, the readers are usually directly talking to the MC somehow, and they're usually insecure as hell and don't know what to do at the time.
Hey, would you guys mind me asking a somewhat related question? How do you guys create meaningful choices?
For it to come into my head. It's usually good enough.
Because I just find a lot of the time that I'll be writing along, and I'll be like, I don't want to be writing right now. I need to put a poll here so I can take a 20-minute break. I can't think of a poll.
I find people usually hive mind on something, so if you really don't want to bother with choices, you make something that's obviously the best and then throw out a couple of other things. And then if they choose one of those, you panic, but they never do. So
yeah,
I've seen some dumb choices before.
Oh, believe me, so have I.
I used to be that guy that made every single choice just open custom poll. The players decide everything, and then I realized that that's basically unsustainable. If you're looking to QM, don't do that. It doesn't work.
That's how I do it.
I tried that once.
It's literally all I do.
Draw quests are a bit different. I think you can get away with that.
Oh yeah, no, totally. I mean, it's a little bit more difficult for written quests. So yeah, take everything I say with a bit of salt.
Yeah, and you've got the sort of conversational style going with prompts anyway, so that helps.
But yeah, like in conversations, I like to give the readers a lot of control on what the main character is saying. So it's usually conversations and very, very quick updates back and forth. But like otherwise, they tend to be about 3 or 4 paragraphs long. So I guess I would say, even though I'm slow as shit, my pacing is relatively quick or minimal.
The times that I do write on Anonkun, like my personal choices that I put down are usually pretty dry, and then I leave the customs open because 99% of the time, whatever the readers come up with is way better than anything I could come up with on my own. My ideas are kind of boring in that regard.
Definitely. Or not about your ideas, but about letting other people have them.
Can you elaborate on that? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that.
Okay, like when I'm writing on just on Anonkun, or actually I'll just say about like 4chan too. The directions that the players take the story are way more interesting than what I would do. Like they'll do things that I didn't expect, which means that the story is more fun for me, I guess, to write for, because they come with something I'm like, man, that's a good idea and that's funny and awesome, and I'm gonna write and draw for that.
That was my mindset behind most of my earlier quests, where I just steadfastly refused to ever put in any pre-selected choices. You guys do all the heavy work, and I'll just write this shit. But for quests that like I write them, it just tends to be unsustainable, and people start bitching about it. So I just kind of gave up.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's just more fun for me. Like that's just the way I do it. That's what I like.
Oh no, I'm not disagreeing. It's fun, but it's hard to get people to go along with it sometimes. Unless you're a special kind of person. Shut up, do it.
I find that a lot of people find it hard to get their player. They keep saying they find it hard to get their players engaged when it's write-in only, and I find that most people who say that they don't give their players a good spot to get engaged with. Like they'll just be talking, and then like it'll stop and be like, okay, what happens next? I'm like, no, that's not how you do it. Why would anyone respond to that?
It's probably because there aren't honestly that many writing quests in the first place, so it's hard to pick up what you should be doing. Like there's your quest and some shit on Anonkun that's right in focus. So. Whereas with regular choice-based quests, there's plenty of fucking examples, and it's far easier to just arbitrarily have a set of questions in the middle of something.
Well, then I actually have a question. I know this is they're supposed to have the questions.
Nah, fuck it.
Fuck other people, dude.
For people
people suck.
For people who do like just prompts and stuff, another common complaint is that there's no engagement. Like people will just come in and then they'll vote and then they'll leave. But I see that on Anonkun, there's still a lot of chat going on. There's a lot of discussion about the prompts and stuff. What do you guys think is the key to having?
You cut out at the end. Having discussion, I assume. I honestly think.
Sorry about that.
Barring Anonkun, since that's a chat, you need some sort of controversy or just anything that can prompt debate. You don't want one option that's clearly the best, and when that's the case, everyone's going to just silently vote for that option and not say anything because there's nothing really to say.
I want to give a shout out.
Good options. Then
I want to give a shout out to QM. Sorry, I keep speaking over you.
Not really a problem.
I want to give a shout out to Kim, who I think job of creating controversy in her quest is Ellie. Whenever I'm reading Pleasures of the Flesh, we're always arguing about what we should be doing, and it is actually a lot of fun, even though we all agree that Ellie keeps the polls open a bit too long most of the time. But besides that really small complaint, her polls are always getting people talking, which I really admire.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Fiddlekins. Is that for it to be meaningful, you just need to have two answers that are both right. Like if you have one option that's just better in every conceivable way than the other options, why would you even put it in? It just doesn't work.
So like everyone's gonna pick that one option, and then the discussion is pretty much just, yeah, that's it, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Honestly,
like in some bigger quests, there's like other meta shit that people discuss, and that's why you get discussion even around obvious.
Anyway,
votes.
Introducing guest for a couple of minutes here, Spuds.
There's a lot of we're talking about motivation here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, why do people go to quests?
Because they have autism.
They're bored.
Yeah, because they have autism is a genuinely correct answer here. So, how do you invest autists?
Waifus? Numbers?
Numbers is a good answer.
Numbers.
Autists gets people really invested.
Wait, numbers and optimization. You don't even need numbers as long as there's optimization involved. Because trust me.
No, yeah.
Exactly.
Optimization of waifus with numbers attached is like catnip to Anons.
And you know what else?
Optimize their waifus, that'd be even better.
Fucking skill trees. Holy shit. Skill trees. People will argue that if you want discussion, make and present to them. Let them see beforehand. Let them see skill trees and upgrade paths, because people will argue about that for years.
Make them like the ones in Final Fantasy X, like just obscenely big. Like if you draw a picture of this skill tree, it would be like 3,000 by 3,000. That's the kind you should be aiming for.
Like honestly, I can't even play actual role-playing games anymore unless they have a good skill tree involved. It's corrupted me.
Skill trees and investing people with autism. So I'm gonna fuck off for a second.
Okay, fuck off for a second.
There's a couple of other things. Like when you're an akun, you're pissed off at the world generally.
Correct.
So obviously, so you set up some sort of bad guy that they can overcome and which they really hate. Because, you know, it's not a book. You don't need to like the bad guy. The bad guy is someone to destroy. So you make the bad guy a real asshole. Solves everything.
So
do not make the bad guy a girl. That will.
Oh no, no! Never do that.
You should always make the bad guy a girl. Always.
No. Well, if you make the bad guy girl, they will waifu them.
Exactly.
Actually,
So what you do is you make the bad guy a guy, and then you make the secondary bad guy a girl, so that way they seduce the secondary bad guy to help against the main bad guy.
Go with how Joker Quest did it. Make a planned bad guy a girl, and then make her a waifu, and then kill her off. Perfect plan.
No, okay. So do you guys ever encounter this in your quests where there is someone who is...
Yes, there's someone who is what? Hold on, you cut off.
Sorry, you got someone who's like obviously bad, but your players just don't want to actually kill them. Like, let's talk this out.
I don't have that problem at all.
Oh yes, that happened in Apotheosis with the vampire. There was just this, you know, like a tutorial boss type encounter with this vampire, who they then decided to imprison and keep around in case he might be useful in the future.
It's really
was
easy.
that ever going to be useful ever?
No.
No, which is why I killed him off after they did some supernatural stuff.
No, honestly, there's a really simple answer to this. You don't make them a bad guy as such. What you make them is an asshole who goes after the character specifically. You make it personal.
Ah, like Mirok from Skyrim. I hated that guy because he kept stealing my dragon souls.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea.
I mean, I can speak from experience. In another goddamn Persona quest, the first antagonist is this asshole named Yukito. What he does is he just is a dick and he drags people into this weird cave so he can kill the bosses that come to kill them and level grind. And that's all he does is he's a real-life level grinder. And everyone in the chat wants him to die. Everyone wants him to die so bad. And I don't know like what perfect storm I've hit of qualities. But you also, okay, here's another one that you have to add to make a compelling antagonist. You have to make them smug about it.
Yeah, make them really, really smug. And
really smug. That's true. That's absolute truth.
Because making them just a dick is fine and well, but if you make them a smug dick, then everyone will want to slit their throat.
You know what had a good fucking villain? Joker Quest.
Honestly,
invoked NTR themes for it, and it was fucking incredible.
Every villain was great.
I just kind of dropped out of Joker Quest after they were in this weird underground ruins and they killed a giant ancient tank thing and stole its gravity, whatever.
You didn't even get to the good parts.
You dropped it before the quest even gets started.
Yeah, you dropped it
before I actually have not read Joker Quest.
You need to at least read up to Nara Dreamland.
I dropped Joker Quest on Fred too.
None of you got to any of the good bits. You need to read to about thread 19. That's when shit hits the fan.
If I have time left, I'll consider it.
Yeah, just read up to Nara Dreamland. Like, read that bit, and that is the best part.
But like, to be real, Joker Quest, I think that's one of the best ways you can start a quest. Is like Joker Quest, because it just set us up. You had no idea what the fuck was going on, but it was cool as hell.
In medias res, is that what it's called? That
in media res.
One of the best ways to start a quest.
No, that's how I do like all of mine. Just
especially if it's in media res with something fucking awesome like Joker Quest.
Yeah, quests just need like too many quests have a slow start, and that it doesn't work because like
are you saying you don't like it when there's like 2 hours of character creation before the story starts?
I'm saying, my friend, that's not the best way to do a quest.
Like,
I'm saying I would rather put a bullet in my head. I would rather put a bullet in my head.
The quests as a concept aren't useful for a slow burn because in order to get anywhere, you need people just to start. So that's why in media res is such a good storytelling technique for quests. I almost said CAS.
I need at least like 20 minutes to decide my character's bust size before I can really get the
And then they always end up as, what is it? Something in curvy.
I used to do that.
End up like, You always end up with like a food to cat girl with like massive breasts.
You also always end up with piercing blue eyes because that is a thing that apparently exists.
Or golden eyes with a weird shape to them. I've seen that one before.
I mean, I can go with that, but that's because I read far too much trash.
But honestly,
for real though. Yeah, in media res is great. It's the best way to start.
But more than I think, there's one thing that's better than in media res, is that you play someone who has no idea what the fuck is going on in a situation that's perfectly suited to them.
Can you clarify on that?
Like
that just sounds like in media res, to be honest.
No, I mean
it sounds like in media res with a character that doesn't know what the fuck's happening.
No, I mean that suddenly something just happens. Now, first there's no action at all, but immediately, like 5 minutes after the quest is started, in the first post, something happens, like really big, and everything changes.
Kind of like a delayed in media res.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
I kind of like that.
Characters just chilling, and then bam, aliens attack.
Exactly.
It's like the whole, guy sitting in the office building, drinking his coffee in the morning, and then suddenly, a dragon attacks the
and then the Matrix happens. And then the Matrix happens.
No, and
I mean, like I almost kind of did that for Cyber Demon Quest, in that it started almost in media res, like you were just before it would become in media res, where the dude wakes up transformed into this hulking monster. But yeah, no, that's sound advice if you want to start a quest.
Just have shit happen, but you don't have the time to have any sort of slow introduction because people are they want shit to happen now, and they want it to be interesting.
Yeah.
That's why it's
what you should do.
Write thread 1 like you're writing thread 50.
Yeah, like start it bombastically. Then once you have people, once you have attracted an audience, then you can feel free to slow it down because they're invested now in the setting and story. But if you don't have any sort of start that they care about, you're not going to get them to begin with. And if you have no one making suggestions, no one's going to be able to get the story further.
That's how Wildbow structures his stories. Honestly, Wildbow's stories are all essentially quests that are written by Wildbow with no players.
Is that why they're so shit?
That's why they are so shit.
I could not. I don't think I could read a story that's structured like a quest, but without any of the reader interaction.
Maybe if the MC was actually schizophrenic, it'd work.
Actually, speaking of Wildbow, I got curious at one point and read the quest that he ran on fucking Space Battles.
That was a disaster.
He is actually a pretty solid quest writer, but Space Battles is fucking artistic and it went horribly.
Yeah,
it's true. I always said that if he'd run it on Akun, he would have hit a stride and he'd be a great QM.
Yeah, like I tried to read Worm before. I could not get into it at all, but I actually enjoyed his quest.
Is he the dude that wrote Worm?
Yeah, exactly.
I thought you were talking about some just no name. I guess that's why I didn't like Worm.
Yeah.
So, saddest thing I ever did was during the climax of one of my quests, I actually had to go on Skype and beg one of my friends, who doesn't even come on the site anymore, to vote in it because no one was voting on the second to last poll. And the one guy I was counting on was late.
I know that feeling.
That sucks.
And it was during the last update of this quest. It was a relatively short quest, but still, I just need to finish it.
Clearly, it was a shit quest.
Honestly, I feel like
I've not run a good quest ever in my life.
I feel like that's one of the barriers to entry to questing on Anonkun in general, is that you open, if you don't know what to do to start, and you don't know how to tag it, and no one's interested, just the sight of posting poll after poll, getting 3 votes, 2 votes, 1 vote, is just the most discouraging experience that a fledgling quest writer could have.
At least with 4chan, you can pretend they're all busy, but...
Or in 4chan,
you can see that little fucking counter.
Yeah, and Anonkun, you can see exactly how little people care about you and how much people care about the Yuri quest 2 slots up.
Which is why you should just write a Yuri quest to start. And then get a player base.
Yuri fangs and body bags.
Start with the hentai so you can develop a reader base, and then move on to the actual thing. That's what I did. And look how successful I am.
Just continue from there.
What was that like?
I have a lot of followers. It's just that most of them aren't on the site anymore because I've just been writing for what 3-4 years now, dropping most of my quests because I have the attention span of a newt, and so none of the people who are following me, it feels, are actually on the site anymore.
I mean, the person that got me into questing isn't on the site anymore, JMan650, because he apparently he had some kind of accident and didn't really feel like writing anymore. So I just kind of I go on here now. He doesn't. So
I don't even know.
I've never read his stuff, but he was a pretty cool guy from when I talked to him in chat, and he was all right. I really miss all the old guys.
Yeah.
I had one of my favorite QMs ever, and who has made my absolute favorite quest. Stopped that quest and then vanished, and I've been
more quests. What was it?
It's a quest on TG Chan called Apocalypse, and it's still my absolute favorite. The world building.
TG, you mean the furry site?
Yes.
So speaking of which, that was another thing. Should we move on to else? Well, there's 9 minutes left. Should we put on another topic or just start pulling questions from the crowd?
Oh crap!
Why not just go longer than an hour? We clearly have more to talk about.
Yeah.
You gonna kick me then?
Nah, you can stay. I like your accent.
Wait, I'm fine going for longer than an hour. We have a lot of stuff we can still cover.
What's up,
Do you guys want to go longer than an hour? I have
a little bit, sure.
Hold on, I got a question.
I have no complaint.
Wilkins? What are you talking about with matchup requests? I don't have any.
The hoodie thing, maybe.
Hoodie quest is gonna update soon, so. Oh.
I get it. Yeah.
That one. Yeah, that's a. Isn't that fucking based on Breaker Quest?
Yeah. That one's pretty great.
Oh god.
Context for people who don't know what's going on and can't see the chat.
Okay, basically for people who don't know, Fiddlekins has asked me when I'm gonna run my magical girl quest that Azure Earth occasionally helps out with. It's the other way around. I kind of just post on his story sometimes. But the next chapter will be soon, because I kind of don't want to take his quest. It's weird, but I don't want to keep posting in it.
Honestly, I kind of, now that I've been thinking about it, I kind of want to give away some of my old quests that I ditched like a hot potato.
Do you think anyone's gonna want them?
I mean, Slime Quest has a pretty high pedigree, and I kind of just dropped it right in the middle.
I'm not sure it's a pedigree so much as it is notorious.
Yeah, that too.
There's been discussion about people taking over other people's quests almost since I started using the site. There was a big conversation about it back when topics were pretty new, I remember. Or actually before topics, back when the topics were actually listed in the same list as all the stories were. That was a long time ago.
That was ever a time?
Yeah, there was a time when they weren't called topics either. They had a different name. And it was like right next to the start quest button, there was a start discussion button, and you could hit that. And it was like a topic, except that it was also counted as a quest. It was weird. But there was one of those about should people be able to take over the stories of authors who have disappeared, was the big thing.
Let's get opinions on that.
With it.
I mean, you can do it on, well, obviously 4chan and so on, so I think Anonkun should support it in some way.
I mean, you technically can, really.
You know what you can do? Just start a new quest and link the old one and be like, hey, I'm continuing this. It hasn't been touched.
That's true.
Or hell, if you can get in contact with the original QM, you can be added as a second author and then just continue from there.
But do you think...
I literally think it's never happened on 4chan without the consent of the original author. So why would it ever happen on Akun?
There have been quests that have been hijacked. There are definitely quests that have been hijacked, but
and
they're
Breaker,
usually
the original QM dropped it, and then
Ego.
someone else picked it up, and
Ego
then
picked it up.
he dropped it, and then someone else
The
picked it
question
up.
is, why shouldn't someone else be allowed to run it? I mean,
Yeah. Most of the time, when a quest I see gets hijacked, it's because it's in like the first thread or the second thread, and the OP just kind of disappears for more than 3 or 4 hours, and someone else just says, "Okay, I'm the OP now," and everyone just kind of rolls with it and has good time.
I forgot about those
Kabbalah
cases,
I fucked off, so it wasn't really consensual. But then I came back and said, "Yeah, fucking no worries, cunts."
Kabbalah was a mistake.
If the author is gone, they haven't even logged in a year. It's not like quests are these sacred magical things. If you want to continue the story and you got some ideas for it, like, go ahead, man. It just means there's
Quests
more
are magical.
I remember there was a shitstorm of that because the new author. Oh, sorry, Fiddlekins asked. Also, talking of people taking over quests. Anyone remember Ari Snack? And yeah, I remember there being a shitstorm over that because the new author was shit.
I think I'm relatively new to questing, honestly, because I don't know most of this shit.
That was on TNG as well. So
Like,
I don't know shit about TG questing either, honestly.
I was TG almost at the start.
yeah, Ari Snake was like a year or 2 ago, probably about 2.
Was it really 2 years? No, it couldn't have been.
It might have been like a year and a half.
Yeah.
I think it was around the time Weekend Quest discussion thread was, I think. So.
Yeah, around there.
Well, that died.
Yeah.
DMC's gone.
Want to move on to a new topic, or?
That sounds good.
Fucking
this one seems to be exhausted.
This is one I like. How do you maintain your motivation to write a quest?
I don't. I've dropped about a dozen or more.
Considering I've never run one, I don't.
I'm not great at it either. Except in Banished Quest, of course. There I'm... Well, I dropped that recently. So.
Yeah. Yeah, the most justified one for me was I was writing a quest called Snow Falls Down, which was intended to just be a short story length quest with only a few updates. But after the second one, I got appendicitis, and for about a month after that, I had no desire to do anything writing-wise at all. I was just wrecked mentally and physically. And so that was the most justified one. The least justified one was my last attempt at starting a quest, which I realized that the numbers I had for it were too annoying to deal with combat-wise. So I just quietly abandoned it. And I just don't talk about it anymore.
Your readers are pretty much used to that by now.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry about that.
If we're talking about like abandoning quests, I mean, I just kind of, if I get bored of it, I just stop. That's it, really.
Yeah, you always abandon quests silently. You don't tell people you're doing it. That's
yeah.
They don't deserve that.
No, please tell them. Hope hurts.
Yeah, that's what makes a dropping quest fun. They always think one day, man, he's going to come back.
I still have
That's the worst.
To get the motivation to make a new chapter, it's just whenever I feel like, you know, that's pretty much it. I can't stand schedules. Schedules bother me. Not work, a hobby.
One day Arcadian will come back. One day.
One day Num will come back. Num was posting a couple months ago. That means that he at least still occasionally comes by the site. Someday Essence of Red will continue.
No.
I don't know any of these. Anonkun can't.
Well, you remember Twen, though?
Oh yeah, Twen was... He's never coming back. He's gone.
One day he will be back.
In all the quests that have ever been written, I think for every one that is finished, I want to say 20 have died. Around that.
And some of them were darn good.
I did tell you my favoriteest quest ever died, and I hate it because of that.
A couple years ago, there was this QM, Yukikaze, who was a pretty good writer. She had this weird magic sci-fi Alice in Wonderland quest where the players actually had a lot of control over the environment. Like, there was polls about what the dreamscape looked like. But she kind of got bullied a lot for a while. And just dropped off the site, came back half a year later or more, actually, wrote like another update, I think, and that was a crying shame because she had talent.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was a good quest, and then it just, fuck. Now I'm sad.
A lot of quests go out that way.
Yeah. It reminds me of when To Be Human came back. I was fucking excited, and then it just died again. Like, came back after a year, did like 3 updates, and then died. And I'm hoping again, because I'm pretty sure it's been around a year.
So, what's the most long shot successful quest resurrection you guys have seen?
That's a good. Probably Totemist. Like Diaka came back after a year or so, and just started running again regularly. What was that? Yeah, Totemist is dead now, but
yeah,
you know, maybe he'll come back once again. Probably.
You just need summoning him hard enough.
Mine was for Max Security. One of the first stories I actually read on Anonkun, one of them is one of the first quests I ever read, was the original Max Security. There was a shitstorm in that quest, a very slow shitstorm, but he dropped it, and then like a couple years later came back for a reboot, and then dropped that, and then a couple years later came back for a second reboot, which, while currently on hiatus, he's still on the site, so that means he will probably end the hiatus soon. He said he would end the hiatus soon, at least. So Max Security definitely still kind of chugging along, despite dying multiple times now.
You got any revivals, Larro? No. Just me and you.
Sorry, what was that?
I said, do you have any revivals, as in revived quest?
No, everything that revives dies again. Nothing.
That's really unfortunately true. New topic, I suppose. How do you feel about waifus in Quest? More as like a device than as actual characters.
What was that?
I mean,
how do you feel about waifus in Quest?
One waifu good. Too many waifu will ruin your life.
If you're just gonna like throw waifus at them, like, try to make them mean something.
What was that?
Story. Give everyone who you make a story. You know, don't just throw like like generic characters in there. At the very least, you can do that.
I'm not very good at it myself, but I do feel that you should try to make all of the potential love interests people in their own right who have lives outside of the main character, to some extent. Not very good at that myself, but I do try.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, you can
like a schedule of things that they do.
You can even sort of pretend that that's the case if you can't actually manage it, but just having characters mention shit offhand. That gives the illusion they're real people, even if, in your head they don't actually do anything when the character isn't around them. Main character isn't around them, I mean.
Here's an idea, is have potential love interests for the potential love interests. So that way, if girl B is picked, then girl C isn't just going to be sitting there pining for the main character for the next, decade. She'll then
that's how you get a
character
shitstorm,
D. And then
that
C
is how
and D
you get a shitstorm.
Polygamists deserve it anyway.
If they wanted C, they should have picked C, not B.
I do have a quest where like the love interest is kind of already locked in, but some players really like the other characters. And I'm like, no, the MC's not going to go after them, and they don't really care for him too much. Not that they hate him, it's just, they have no romantic feelings for him. Because you didn't spend any time building up a relationship with them, so they're not going to suddenly like fall in love with them.
But that's not how it works. If you want to waifu a character, you should be able to waifu them instantly. How are you saying they're like actual people?
Just
what
wink
the
at
fuck,
them.
man?
Just wink at them. And then
this isn't how it works in my fucking H games. What the fuck?
The problem with many waifus in Quest is that Players aren't good at social stuff. It's the autism.
That's true.
So
that is far too true.
One way of solving that is to have non-social things be paths on the relationship or whatever. I don't know.
That makes sense. Like, if you're running a fantasy quest where the character is a nobleman or one of those empire builder type quests, you might have a poll where his steward presents him with 3 foreign princesses, and it's picking which one you want to arrange a marriage with. I could definitely see that working because it kind of adds a bit of that political optimization thing to it as well.
That's what all the Song of Ice and Fire Green Ronin based RP stuff on TG does.
Well, when it comes to social stuff, and this helps just because of the way I run my quests, is everything the players suggest to say to potential love interests or any other characters really is filtered through the MC's mind, so it's not completely retarded, and they'll say what the players want them to say, but not exactly as they want to say it. So it still gets the message across, but it doesn't come off as awkward or stilted because.
Yeah, I mean, you should always be charitable to players in their weaknesses.
Unless for some reason you give the MC a trait where they're completely fucking retarded, in which case go ahead and just give player text directly.
At that point, just kill yourself.
You're assuming that my dialogue is not stilted normally, so.
I mean, it can't be worse than what some players do. I mean, look at Joker Quest.
Such defiance.
Yes.
Such defiance
was a good part where
constructed to be bad.
Such defiance was beautiful.
All right, I hate to bow out here, but I actually do have to go. But it was a pleasure talking with everyone here. Sorry, my voice is a little low. Thanks for having me on. I guess
it was fun.
Right.
Yeah, it was fun having you.
And DMC is gone, so he still can't even say goodbye.
Yeah, right, I suppose we'll probably wrap it up around the time he comes back.
Yeah, that probably sounds good.
All right, see you.
So, any other reader questions until he comes back?
So, I mean, I can throw out some stuff. I've still got. How many have I even got here? I don't know. I got 4 questions I can throw out.
May as well.
Here we go. Which dead quests would you revive? Oh, we've already done that, I'm afraid. Hang on.
Kinda.
We've done the first one, and we've done. Jesus, yeah, we got a few of these now.
Fuck you, Fids. That's terrible idea.
By the way,
okay, Fiddlekins. Yeah, list your fetishes and then argue about them. Let's go. List your fucking fetishes.
Fuck that.
Slavery, but tasteful.
Shit.
Monogamy.
Fuck. Oh, yeah, that's okay.
It would take way too long to list mine, so we're not doing that.
Pick 2 or 3 and go.
Still, really? 2 or 3? Let's see.
2 or 3?
Molly's.
Shit, you fucking disgusting pedophile.
Of course.
You should be
branding, because that's fucking great.
I don't like messing up the skin. It's just, I'd rather have the smooth skin.
Really? How do you feel about, I don't know, gore?
I actually went through a Goro phase. Yeah,
I'm more a Ryona person than
how do you feel impregnating 10-year-olds for the purposes of eugenics? According asks Novo MD. That's okay.
It's pretty great.
How do you guys feel?
Pretty great. It's pretty fucking great.
It's ineffective. You want to wait a couple years. Well, actually, you want to wait a couple years so that their bodies will handle the birth, so you can do it multiple times. Because if they're 10, they're more likely to die in childbirth. Efficiency and all that.
I mean, if you want to be maximally efficient, what you do is you examine the greater and greater population. I mean, you don't target 10-year-olds necessarily, because 10-year-olds are a small group and it's difficult to keep a hold of them. They're uncontrollable. It's easier to get a larger group of older people. I mean, for eugenics purposes.
What you're saying is very sensible.
No, you need to first breed with older people, and then keep their kids around, keep them locked up, and then breed with them for the purpose of eugenics.
I don't think you keep them locked up. Like, you let them roam around a little so they stay healthy. Like if they're locked up,
give them a basement. Give them a basement to walk around in.
Give them like a garden, a walled garden with spiked walls.
Just move to Austria and lock them in a fuck basement.
There's a couple of problems.
You need sunlight. You need sunlight to keep people happy and healthy.
Yeah.
And the health of parents do influence the health of the children as well.
I mean,
the
there's the fact that they
education
could
also.
miscarry or something.
Yeah, I mean,
Which is why you just need more.
But what?
Then
it's not a eugenics program anymore. You're getting inferior stock.
True.
If you use locked up 10-year-olds than if you use adults. From a pragmatic point of view, it's not the best.
I suppose we just need to think on this more. This is a topic for another time in another podcast because it needs much more than just a few minutes to talk about fully.
Yeah, I mean, we can do a child slavery and/or eugenics podcast, I suppose.
Yeah, do some research on it ahead of time.
Yeah, we need some research. We need to
get Blip, get MZ on. They know that. Well, yeah, they're pretty qualified to talk about kitty fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably bring in Ill Wars for that one if what I heard about the previous get-together is any true.
We should get... Yeah. We definitely should. Oh, no, he left the server, I think. He got very mad. Yeah, he's gone. What a shame. Well, you have to see if you can get him back for it. Oh, no, sorry, he is still here. He's just online. Alright, okay. Yeah, we need Ill Wars for the kitty fucking discussion. You're right. It's gonna be real hard to fill time until DMC's back.
Do you have any more of those questions on that list?
I've got a few. No, I've only got like one or two. How do you keep your writing quality consistent over the course of a session? Which I suppose is sort of like, how does your interest not wane? But how do you make sure you aren't writing complete garbage when you've got a 30-minute turnover time?
Yeah, and like, how do you make sure that you don't get too drunk to write properly?
Yeah, I don't know anyone who has that problem, honestly. But
yeah, right.
Yeah, not me.
I mean, so if you want consistency, then you need a reliable way of like inflicting a specific emotion on yourself. So like if you know there's a site or something that makes you really mad and you want to be really mad for the entire session, do that occasionally. Go
watch social justice shit for an hour before you write and you'll be mad for the whole evening.
Exactly.
Or if you're on the other end of the spectrum, watch bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, go and watch a session of the Daily Show if you're one of those people, you know.
And if I needed that, I would just stick around Lively for a bit.
That's
Quest in general for you non-spooky plebs.
I saw a pic while I was eating dinner of all the old Baldur's Gate characters as trans people, and I was so mad.
Oh, that image.
Oh, hang on, Fitz has a good question here. Which quest do you hate the most? The one that you had to keep reading but still thoroughly disenjoyed?
Magical Go Nowhere quest.
This is a quick answer.
No fucking yeah.
I didn't really have to keep reading it, and I did actually drop it halfway through, but I was... Anything Satan wrote, just that. Satan. Anything he wrote.
That, understandable, yes.
Yeah.
Especially the one with the babysitter rape.
It's a difficult question, because I actually enjoy anything which I thoroughly...
said a non-phallic dildo.
Anything I thoroughly disenjoy, I also simultaneously enjoy. I enjoy my hate, so it never really happens to me, you know?
Oh, I also have to add in Attack on Pokemon Hunter, because after like halfway, I fucking hated that shit. Oh, and Holoquest Redux.
I don't think there's... Like, if I don't like a quest, I just drop it. I don't think there's anything I've continued to read because I hate it.
I was always invested in shit, and then it turned to really fucking terrible shit, and I just kept reading and hated myself.
See, I have good taste, so I've never run into that problem. I don't read shit quests.
You have good taste? I doubt that.
No. Name one shit quest I read.
Yeah, Mage just did.
I stopped reading Princess Guard once it became shit, though, so...
You read it
was
after
always
the duel.
shit, though.
That's just a very subjective opinion.
E, you are clearly too drunk to talk.
It's 2:15. I haven't
You are
had a
too
drop
drunk.
of alcohol in
You are too fucking drunk.
a good
5
few
o'clock
hours.
somewhere. I have a weird habit where when I'm reading a quest that I know is a smut quest, but it doesn't get to the smut quickly, or even when it does sometimes, I'll read it up until it gets to the smut, and then I'll put it down for a moment, and then just never pick it up again. Not on purpose. It's just I don't know why.
Once you're done jerking off, you have no interest
It
in
only
it.
happens some of the time.
It's not
Loner Quest is a good example. I was really invested in Loner Quest, and then when they started, having the sex scenes, I was enjoying it, but then I just put it down and never picked it up again.
There's a reason for that.
I get that a lot of the time too.
It's because it requires a different mindset reading smut than reading other stuff. So unless there's a constant reminder that it is a smut quest and you are in that mind space, you have to transition out of the mindset of a normal quest into the mindset of a smut quest, and when you do that, it's not necessarily the same feeling. It's not the quest you came there for, so you drop it.
When you put it that way,
that makes sense.
My entire issue with actually reading quests run by Blip or Beep, whatever the fuck his name is on Akun. I enjoy his writing, so when it gets to the smut, I enjoy his smut writing as well. Smut writing, so I just can't exactly follow it, and then I'll just put it down until I'm in the mood, and I just never pick it up.
I can see that, because quests that are completely smut, like Collared Quest or Pleasures of the Flesh, which are pretty constant with their lewdness and eroticism, I can read those fine. And then there's Golden Empire, which it does have occasional smutty scenes, but they're very tasteful, so they don't feel jarring as much, because it feels still like it's the normal type of writing.
Yeah, and fuck, I need to actually catch up on that at some point. I'm like 2 chapters behind, which means 2 fucking novels.
Yeah, don't hurry too much. Face is really slow right now. It's good writing. It's just nowhere near as fast as he was when he was writing Part 5.
Which one's Part 5?
That was the one where they went south to steal the gems from the enemy house. I think it's one of the longest parts.
I think I may have fallen behind during that part then. Either that part or Part 4. I can't remember which.
Yeah, they're at Part 8 right now.
Oh fuck, I have a lot to read.
You have like a couple years of worth writing to read.
Wait, maybe I fell behind after... I don't remember. I think it was during the sex scene in the woods. I don't remember which part that was.
I don't actually remember that scene.
Yeah, it was like... There was just a lot of lead up, and then it was just... fuck, I forget the names. MC and the bodyguard camping in the woods. And then it led to a smut scene. I just haven't caught up since then.
Yeah. Do you remember that scene on one of the boat rides where the bodyguard told the main character that secret about how she betrayed the Empire, and it was a really painful, emotional scene?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes, I think, on the entire site.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
It's just raw emotion.
And then we killed the conversation.
Fucking hour and 20 in, still no DMC.
well, since there's people who haven't read through GG quests, I got a shill for SCQ, because everybody should read Sexual Encounter Quest. Go to
Everyone should read all of Twin's quests. Go read Last Companion. Go read Waifu Quest.
Go read Tax Quest too.
Tax Quest. Yeah. He was legitimately good, and then
Really,
he dropped every single one of his quests.
If we're shilling for DTG quest, then I'll shill for Lessons in Knighthood because it's fucking great and everyone should read it.
Okay, well, how about I shill for a live quest? I'm gonna shill for Northern Base quest. Fucking Moloch needs more players.
Yeah, shill for that.
I'm not shilling for Exalted quest because it's shit.
If we're doing shilling, then it's an Anonkun quest, but that doesn't matter. But I think his name is Petrichor. He has 2 quests that I really like. One is based on a young adult series about basically people who hunt witches and monsters in England, and the other one is about a girl becoming an apprentice doll maker.
I need to read that. I read Stage Magician, and it was kind of alright, but I fell behind. But Doll Maker sounds really good. Is it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, his laptop broke in the middle of an update, and he had to put it on a week-long hiatus or so that he could go get a new laptop.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah, that kind of sucked because it was like right in the middle of a session. But yeah,
if we're gonna describe the quest we shill, I gotta say, SCQ is the story of a genius quantitative analyst who is too cowardly to pay for prostitutes and instead buys a mercenary company.
It's not quite as interesting as it sounds, but it's good.
No, it's better. It's better than it sounds.
All right. Okay. That's fair. I'm not going to bother describing Northern Beast because I'm fucking lazy.
Yeah, I would describe Lessons in Knighthood, but I am also lazy.
This might be a bit of a controversial question, but kind of the antithesis of this last one. What's a quest that you think is overrated?
Magical Girl Noir.
Yes. Yep. Good thing it's dead.
Thank fucking God.
You guys all seem to hate it, but other people I've talked to liked it. Do you have any reason why you hate it?
I have good taste.
I'm asking what your reason is.
So it's a mess that cannot keep a consistent tone at all, has horrible fucking pacing, everything is all over the place, it eventually turns into basically what's Yuri pet play BDSM. Like, after a point, every character becomes uninteresting, aside from, like, side characters, where the best part was a shitstorm involving a flashback, all focused on one character, and everything went horribly. And yeah, it's a shit show.
Sounds like a pretty average quest.
I think the problem with Magical Girl Noir quest to me is that it takes all of these elements from all of these different stories and respects none of them. It makes
also
no sense.
Yes, there's also that.
I mean, it doesn't care. He just didn't fucking care. There's no actual interest in any of the characters he's stolen from various stories.
There's also the fact that something that is actually Magical Girl mixed with noir would be fucking great, and I would be all over that shit.
I mentioned that when people were telling me about it, that when I heard the title, I imagined a hard-drinking magical girl solving crimes in a dingy city, and I thought that sounded like cool stuff.
Yes, I would be all over that shit. I would also be all over it if it was like Armored Hero instead.
Kind of.
Well, except it's Medaka and 40k and about a half dozen other fucking different IPs.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't even do noir well because it's just like trash.
Yep.
So, any other quests you want to shit on? We've got plenty of time until DMC is back, I think.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Ruby quest is shit. I'm saying it.
That's quite an opinion. I haven't read it, but
funny story. A couple months ago, it was one.
We don't have to wait for DMC to bail, but it's sort of polite, sir.
Yeah, it's polite. I was looking around for a quest to read just to tide me over during breakfast. I saw a new one starting up that was it was set right, like, shortly after the time of Jesus, when Christianity is proselytizing, and I'd taken a class on that time period, so I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And it had no respect for anything historical, which, if something's historically inaccurate, but it's kind of, honest, I don't mind it. But if
I remember you
disrespectful to history, that's something different. So I left a bad review of it and, moved on. Well, later that day, when I got back from work, I saw that someone had left a review on one of my quests that was just saying, it's shit. I'm not going to tell you what, but it's shit. That's 0 minimum number of stars. And I'm just like, what is that about? And then I realized that it must have been someone getting butthurt about the poor review I left on the other quest in the morning. And then me and Eld Wars had a good laugh about it.
Well, that's always fun.
I just remembered a massively overrated quest. That fucking Tower Girls quest. Fuck that shit, man. And I had tons of players.
Isn't that a choose your own adventure? Did that actually end up as a quest?
Oh, it's ended up as multiple fucking quests because
I meant the one I think Nox did.
Actually, on that topic, Nox is a fucking hack and most of his stuff is trash.
I like Dragon Slayer.
That was a shit show. That was a fucking shit show.
I don't care. It was great. I don't care. It was a shit show.
Yeah, that was not great.
Well, if you want to end on that note, we can, apparently.
Yeah, I'm good with anyone calling Nox a shit.
That's cool.
Cool. You want to talk shit about Cass for a couple of seconds?
Sure. Like I said, he needs to hire a community manager and he needs to hire a programmer. And he needs to start a freaking Patreon.
He also needs
Those are my 3 cents.
He also needs someone that actually understands web design because his layout is fucking awful.
Grim M.A.N.D. said man shit.
Yeah.
And I would say web dev and programmer are different because one needs to actually know how to make things look good.
He also needed to tell DMC not to do this.
Exactly. Exactly what Fidge said. Do not make a programmer do UI because that will end up fucking horribly.
Okay, Cass is shit, Anonkun is shit, fiction.live is shit, this podcast is shit, we're done.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, bye.